Hello everyone, I'm back with Just BS 101, a series through which I'm making an honest attempt to share a few snippets of my learnings from the business of sports. Today let's talk about fan loyalty programs. But before we get to the nuance of what they mean for sports organizations, let's take a step back and think about customer loyalty programs in general. They've been around for ages, and I'm sure each one of us has been exposed to one of these programs through different forms, be it through air miles or redeemable benefits, discounts, tokens, etc., that different brands offer. Let's take a quick history class to look at some of the best examples of customer loyalty programs in the last couple of centuries. Starting with the famous copper tokens that were prevalent in America in the late 1800s or so. These were effectively a proxy for store credit being given to loyal customers. And they were quite localized in their expanse. The entire base of customers benefiting from these tokens was maybe not over 100,000 or so. Then we come to early and mid 1900s, when a couple of these programs really made their mark and they were able to expand massively to a customer base of close to 60 to 80 million. The first example being that of SNH green stamps. And then you had the Japanese point cards, effectively awarding points against purchases, allowing redeemable benefits at a later date. And definitely one of the most landmark examples in customer loyalty is the Advantage program by American Airlines, a typical air miles template that later on became very, very generic and started to be replicated across different geographies around the world. With that context, let's now move our attention specifically to what this means for sports organizations. Let's move from customer loyalty programs to fan loyalty programs. How different or similar is the approach to doing that? Let's take a step back and think about what are the objectives really behind every loyalty program. In my mind, there are two clear objectives. One, increasing the lifetime value that you can derive out of every fan. Second, maximizing the extent of first party data that you can collect. If I think about the first pillar in this, increasing lifetime value is a combination of establishing brand stickiness and then maximizing your share of wallet from every single fan. Brand stickiness is not that big of a challenge for sports organizations because sports fans are typically far more loyal to their brands. Let's say you have a favorite team in the IPL or EPL. No matter what happens, you're not going to change your loyalty so easily. But increasing your share of wallet, especially in a geography like India, that's a challenge for you to think about. Second, maximizing data collection. You can do that in two ways. One, stated preferences through surveys or let's say directly asking fans for certain information about them. Second, deriving insights from the behavior that we can track on digital assets. I think the second one here is a very good opportunity when it comes to sporting organizations because the gamut of activities that a sports fan can do on a sports website, ranging from engaging with statistics, match centers, or let's say loyalty programs itself, or gaming activations, etc. It offers a very, very wide variety of behavioral insights for you to track. Now that we have a fair sense of how to think about fan loyalty programs for sports organizations in general, let's dive deeper into what kind of benefits we can deliver to fans through these programs. Using a very simple model, we can either classify these benefits as individual benefits or community benefits. Or on the other dimension, we can think of them as delivering emotional value or real tangible value. The first category that emerges is that of community driven benefits that deliver emotional value. For example, leaderboards, something that just gives you bragging rights to talk about in your friend circle. The second category is, let's say, a social incentive. This is a community driven benefit, but that has real tangible value. Example, referral program. These programs are not new to us. We've seen them across different industries. Let's say a franchise in the IPL runs a referral program where you get different friends of yours to engage with the digital asset of the franchise. And then in return, you get a discount code to redeem against, say, merchandise or tickets. The real tangible value being driven in the form of a social incentive that is of a community nature. Thirdly, individual recognition. Now, this is a benefit of an individual category driving emotional value for the fan. For example, based on my digital activity or level of engagement, Maybe there are different tiers to the fan loyalty program, and I am being rewarded with badges for completing every next year. We can think of it as community in some sense if you have a share it on social element linked to it. But at its very core, it's individual recognition that really gratifies the fan in this example. And finally, you could have your typical earn and burn. That's a quintessential individual benefit of a very tangible nature being driven. Earn some number of points, redeem them to, let's say, gain certain benefits of discounts, etc. Typical earn and burn as we know it. A loyalty program launched by an organization can actually have a combination of many of these elements and not necessarily sticking to just one of these. Different kinds of fans will react differently, respond to a different extent to different kinds of benefits. The trick really is to have the right combination of these elements in place. Before we move to a couple of examples of fan loyalty programs launched by a couple of sports organizations, let's look at what the typical journey for a fan looks like in one of these programs. This is very intuitive for us to really think about, but let's go through it once. We start with fan registration, creating of the profile on the digital ecosystem of the sports organization. The fan then starts to engage with different elements that are available. And in lieu of that, the fan starts to earn points or tokens to some extent. As a result of that, there is leaderboard movement. You start feeling a sense of gratification as you move higher on the leaderboard in the entire program. What that means is you will start earning certain badges, certain avatars, or maybe you will graduate through different tiers that are available in the program. And finally, while you can deliver a lot of emotional value through this journey, at the end of the journey, there definitely has to be a tangible manifestation where you are able to redeem many of these badges and points you've collected against benefits that are very, very real in the physical world. And finally, a couple of rather famous fan loyalty programs run by two major sports organizations. First example, NBA Top Shot. They run a very typical referrals benefit program where if you're able to refer a friend, get the friend to register on this platform and engage with it, there are some real redeemable benefits on offer. Secondly, Adidas. We've all used the running app in some shape and form. As part of Adi Club, they have a very typical earn and burn model. The one that we saw in the example on the previous slide. Individual tangible benefit. You earn points on every purchase that you make. And then you have a bunch of options to redeem them, either as discounts for future purchases or a wide variety of options across the entire Adidas ecosystem. Hope you found that useful. Stay tuned for more.